Feel the energy. Live
Benjamin
the
Moshata
moment.
and Palesa on the move.
All right. So on Wednesday, Channel Africa, in partnership with the Wits Business School, to be accurate, will be hosting the first ever Africa Matters Summit taking place in Johannesburg, South Africa. As climate change impacts Africa, which warms faster than the global average, driving extreme weather patterns like severe floods and droughts, the summit will be unpacking some of the issues and finding possible solutions to this. It'll be under the theme titled Financing Africa's Recovery. To tell us this, we are joined by Channel Africa's business manager, Dicksy Ngqula. We're excited that we'll also be broadcasting live on the day there. And I hear it's a full house now. The tickets are actually filled, and people have actually made accommodation to say, hey, we are interested in this gathering.
I think the response has been phenomenal.
That's cool.
It's been great to hear that the great population of this great continent is interested in this subject, because this is not one of those popular subject matters,
Sure.
but it's one which we have to tackle head on as Africans.
Because we're feeling it. I mean, look at the heavy rains that we're experiencing in many parts of South Africa, the severe droughts. So definitely climate change is relevant. Why was it close to you?
So Africa Matters first. I think I should position that.
Sure.
Africa Matters is a new platform that we're launching as Channel Africa. It's homegrown, and it's a platform. It's a thought leadership platform that we thought was necessary for our continent, so that us as Africans really graduate the issue of talking about African solutions to African problems, but really look at practical ways to make sure that we facilitate those discussions. So Africa Matters will be a home for those discussions, right?
Yeah.
And it may be one theme this year and another next year, but the issue of climate change, and particularly how we finance our own recovery, is a discussion we need to have first as Africans, align on it, speak with one voice, all right? And then we can take that conversation to international audiences and to international organizations, the multilateral organizations. And in the space of geopolitics, know that at least as Africans, we're speaking with one voice about what it is that we believe will work for us. So when you talk about finance, you know that there's ever-increasing finance in terms of climate change.
Sure.
But Africa, in particular, gets a proportionately very, very small amount of that funding. And we've got to sit and have discussions with ourselves as policymakers, funders within the continent, all right? Civil society, business, labor, etc.
Sure.
And say, these are the things that we think will work for us. And I think that when we approach things from that position, we will be taken seriously by others as well.
Well, speaking about one voice, Channel Africa as a station has always embodied the theme, right? And embodied the fact that Africa matters. It's the reason why we exist in the first place. But you've brought in different partnerships that through this are showing that they also have a stake in the fact that Africa does matter, and they want to participate in the conversations and I guess the solutions of the continent. One of those partners is the Wits Business School that is part of the Africa Matters initiative. What will their contribution be towards this event?
Okay. So one, we are hosting the event there in
Yes.
their premises.
Okay.
But the second thing is that Wits Business School is deploying no less than 4 professors to the summit to record and come up with an outcomes note. Okay, what that says about us and this summit in particular is that this won't be a talk shop, and we're not creating some event to create content for audiences. We're talking beyond that. We're taking this matter very seriously. That post-event, you'll be able to read a document about the outcomes, the solutions that were reached there, and the practical steps forward, and how we must measure ourselves against those steps which would have been deliberated upon in the summit itself.
It's a very exciting event indeed. It sounds like there are going to be quite a number of conversations that we should all be invested in as we're listening to us. Take us through some of the topics that will be fleshed out during the summit, and also who some of the major participants are going to be.
Okay, so we've decided to make this a sprint event. It's over one day.
Nice.
Okay. And then we've got 3 panels. The first one is going to look at the policy alignment and just the regulatory environment on the continent, because we speak as more than 50 countries, and there has to be some kind of alignment for us as a continent. We think that it's important to discuss that straight off the bat when the summit starts. And then we will look in panel 2 on issues of finance funding through various instruments. And we've got private banks there, we've got private equity, we will have development finance institutions, your DFIs, we will have in that space as well civil society, about funding on the African continent.
Great.
The funding channel.
So it's very actionable.
100%.
Sure.
Then the third part is really just a consolidation panel to see, out of all the things that we've discussed, what are the practical steps then? How do we take all of this forward? And so those are the 3 panels on the day. And I think you'll also have obviously very important speakers there. And I do want to say, you were talking, Palesa, about partnerships. There's one partner that's come on board, the Black Management Forum actually, is going to sponsor one of the panels. And they've come on and said, we are, as a business formation, have a strong history of 50 years of existence actually this year. And we want to participate in this discussion meaningfully. So we're proud of that as well.
Yeah,
That's
this has
incredible.
been your vision. I mean, what are your personal expectations from something that you've been thinking about for a while?
Okay, so my personal expectations are that this is just the beginning of a summit that will become a global platform one day. All right. So we are laying down the foundational steps at this point. My personal expectations out of this particular one is, as I said earlier, that there must be practical steps so that we move the needle, so that we begin to talk as one voice as Africa. And we are a powerful voice of more than 1 billion people.
Absolutely.
We are the youngest continent in the world with a median of 19. That is our equity, colleagues. So we must make that work for ourselves in the next quarter of a century, I dare say, So these things that we're doing now are to say we're not just a broadcaster, but we are an interested party in the development of the African continent.
Well, we'll leave it there. Just as a wrap up, where can people go to find out more about this? Should they make reference to our website, our social media, of course?
First, download the Channel Africa app.
Yes.
And you can catch us online at channelafrica.co.za. All right. And then you can simply email Elena at channelafrica.co.za and put your name there, and you'll be RSVP'd.
Fantastic.
That's it.
Well, don't forget you have a seat at the table as well, so you'll be able to participate, to know all that is going on. We're also excited as the On The Move team to be broadcasting live at the Africa Matters Summit this Wednesday, and you can catch it on the Channel Africa app, the SABC Plus app, and the array of platforms that we have for you here on Channel Africa. Thank you so much to our business manager, Channel Africa's business manager, Dicksy Ngqula.
6 decades of rhythm, resonance, and relevance. We are Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Channel Africa is proud to host the flagship Thought Leadership Summit, Africa Matters, in partnership with Wits Business School, where experts, policymakers, and thought leaders come together to unpack the biggest issues of our time. This is where ideas meet action, where challenges become opportunities, and where Africa's voices take its rightful place on the global stage. On 25 March 2026, join Channel Africa for Africa Matters, Climate Change Recovery Summit at the Donald Gordon Auditorium, Wits Business School in Parktown, Johannesburg. For more information, go to www.channelafrica.co.za or download the Channel Africa app.